Joining us on the line right now, General Michael Hayden, a retired United States Air Force 4-star. He was DERNZA, Director of the National Security Agency. He was Director of the CIA. He's got a new book out called Playing to the Edge, American Intelligence in the Age of Terror. Good morning, General Hayden.
Good morning. Good to talk with you guys.
And with all of those credentials that you have been making a little bit of news in this continuing interesting battle between Apple and the FBI. You have come down on the side of Apple, and many people are sort of surprised by that.
Yeah, broadly I have, but the backdrop actually is quite interesting. This is playing out like a morality play for the theme that permeates the book, which is fundamentally, these are tough questions. It's a permanently gray area, and it's not about the forces of light and forces of darkness. It's about balancing virtues. And in this case, the virtues here are security and privacy. So how I come down on this particular one, I think I'm quite comfortable siding with Apple on the big question. And the big question has been the FBI's request that Apple put a universal backdoor into all of their devices. I actually think that American security, not just privacy, American security, which is after all kind of my lane, American security is better served with unbreakable end-to-end encryption, given all the cyber crimes that are taking place. Even though I fully recognize that from time to time, that's going to actually make law enforcement and even American intelligence, their jobs a bit harder than they would otherwise be. Now fast forward, you got this particular case in San Bernardino. This specific phone, they don't want Apple to break the encryption. They just want it to change the iOS so that the government can go after it. It's limited, it's specific, it's court-ordered. I'm actually trending towards the government on this specific issue. Apple argues that if you do this here, you're inevitably going to end up in that broader state I described for you. I don't see it, and so I guess my bottom line is, if that's true, the burden of proof is on Apple to show me that this is going to lead to that, because I am on their side when it comes to that.
All right, and so given that, is there some sort of compromise here? Because we do have a court order here, and there are. You admit that there are some specific security things at stake here.
No, there is. But look. This began with a request to put backdoors in, so that the government and they were very careful about it. You know, you can keep one key, we'll keep the other key, and so on. Look, I've got to tell you, you describe me as a DERNZA. As a former DERNZA, when somebody puts a backdoor into anything, my initial reaction is, thank you, Lord, because that's given me, and I may not be successful all the time, but the odds of my succeeding now are greater than they would otherwise be. And in other words, that lowers the water level of American, writ large, cyber security.
And given that you were the director of the NSA, I just have to ask you this question. If a foreign leader, let's say a foreign minister of some major country, was using an unsecured server and there was classified data on it, you pretty much would have your way with that server, wouldn't you, over at the NSA?
I wouldn't even require that it be classified. If I could get into the purely unclassified server of you name your foreign minister in some hostile country, I would move heaven and earth to learn what was being said, even at the unclassified level.
Can you imagine a scenario where the emails of Hillary Clinton's unsecured server were not being read by other countries?
I would lose respect for a whole host of intelligence services around the world if they didn't successfully go after that stuff.
Wow. Well,
thank you, General Michael Hayden. Once again, the book, Playing to the Edge, American Intelligence in the Age of Terror. And he's got an event today at Politics and Prose, 7 p.m., right over on Connecticut. Have fun over there, General.
Thanks, General. Appreciate
it. Great. Looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.
By the way, for those of you who don't speak Washington speak, he said we introduced him as a former DERNZA.
Yes, Director, National Security Agency.
Yeah, I didn't want people to think he had joined some weird cult or something. He's a DERNZA. It's 7:52.